His skin is white just like a ghost, thick Irish roots and his blonde hair. And he sounds like a Chicago superfan, a music nerd with a collection of CDs from here to there. Yes, Andy Dare is in Chicago, interviewing and barbecuing. It's the Andy Dare Show. It's the Andy Dare Show.
Hey everybody, thank you so much for checking out the Andy Dare Show. This is episode 72, and I'm joined by my big brother in broadcasting, Kevin Matthews. He's got quite a history in radio, broadcasting, and now he's dipping his feet into podcasting as a part of the Steve Dahl Network. Check him out. Take a listen and subscribe at dahl.com, DAHL.com. And it's an awesome show, the Kevin Matthews Show. They post one every Monday and Friday afternoon, but they're always there. They're always archived. Just listen whenever you have a chance. That's the beautiful thing of podcasting, is it's always on demand whenever you want it. You don't have to listen in from 7 to 8 on a special day, you know. It's just on demand whenever you need it, and it's also censorship-free and no FCC guidelines, no program directors breathing down his neck. He's got total freedom over at the Steve Dahl Network, and it's great to see. We have a great little chat here, and before we get in the meat of it, though, I'd like to bring up my awesome sponsors. First up, we got Uncle Bub's award-winning barbecue in gorgeous Westmont, Illinois, about 20 minutes to the west of Chicago. They are the real deal barbecue with smokers built into the back of the restaurant, pumping out hickory smoke, delicious hickory smoke throughout the neighborhood. They got great beef brisket. They've got awesome pulled pork, homemade side dishes, awesome baby back ribs, roasted chicken, whatever you want, they've got it. They've got that awesome American fare, and they also do complete catering. They do a complete catering setup. They will come to your wedding. They will come do a pig roast, bring a smoker out on site. They could bring a grill up pork chops, chicken, you name it. Make sure that your party goes off without a hitch. They do corporate lunches, picnics, luau's. It's a really cool company, family owned and operated since 1997, and that is Uncle Bub's award-winning barbecue. They're a big deal at the Naperville Rib Fest. Check it out. Give them a call at 630-493-9000. And they're located at 132 South Cass Avenue in Westmont, Illinois. If you have any questions, just give them a call. They have a friendly staff that is ready to answer any question you have. And check them out on the web at UncleBubs.com. And by Secondhand Mall, also in Westmont, Illinois. As I've said on the show before, my record store of 28 years. Remember When Records. The owner recently retired and sold off the inventory to Secondhand Mall. And so now they have a huge vinyl selection. They've got DVDs, computer equipment. They've got vintage musical equipment for the musician in you. They've also got a whole bunch of tools and hardware for construction workers. They've got computer gear, you name it. It's a great environment, real friendly store. Check it out. They buy, sell, trade. Call them at 630-810-9980. If you're looking to turn that stack of CDs in your closet into some spending change, why not take it to Secondhand Mall? Check them out on the web at secondhandmall.com, a.k.a. 2ndhandmall.com. And by Insider Pros. Yes, it's a free app. It contains daily trends and angles and picks from experts on NFL, college football, NBA, baseball, and hockey. Follow them on Twitter at Insider Pros. And you can find them on the iTunes store. It is completely free. It is Insider Pros, one word, or you can check them out on the web at insiderpros.com. Insider Pros. And by Okay, just one more for today. We are now an official Amazon affiliate. So all you got to do is go to theandydareshow.com, go to the right-hand side of the page, and click on our Amazon banner. Then you'll just shop as you normally do, and you get to wet our beaks a little bit. And you are supporting a creative endeavor that we started almost 2 years ago here in Westmont, Illinois. It really amazes us to see, the outpouring of people just clicking through and, shopping like they normally would, but giving a wink and a tip of their hat to the Andy Dare Show. I really do appreciate it. So far, we've had an Amazon Kindle. We've had an iPad or an iPod. We've had sunglasses, expensive ones, too. We've had a whole bunch of cool stuff. I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for supporting my little thing, the Andy Dare Show. Also, be sure to check out our brand new album called Transmissions from the Honeycomb Hideout. It's got music, it's got comedy bits, call-ins to other shows. It's a good time. You can find it for $5 at andydareshow.bandcamp.com. Features guest spots by Lynette Carolla, Allison Rosen, Jonah Ray, The Ed, Paul Gil-Martin, and Peter Jesperson, old manager and producer for The Replacements, and a lot of other names too. It was a great time picking these tracks off of my show from the last year and a half, so do check it out and support the reel at andydareshow.bandcamp.com. That about does it for sponsors this week. Just want to thank Kevin Matthews for taking the time out, and also for Kevin just letting me do my Talking Tunes segment. It ran for 10 segments early this year on the Kevin Matthews Show, and I think we might be doing it again early next year. Kevin's been nothing but an awesome guy to me, and so I'd like to thank the whole Steve Dahl Network too. Let's see, anything else? I just want to wish you and your family a happy holidays. We're going to be taping one more episode this year, so next week should be the year-end wrap-up. And, just want to thank all the guests, the listeners, and the sponsors for a great 2012. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to my episode 72 with Kevin Matthews. What are you, goofy?
Hey, bud, how are you?
I'm doing great. Little producer's note right here. We lost a little bit of audio, only about 20 seconds, where I asked him about his brand new knee surgery and his new granddaughter. And so we're going to go back to the interview where he talks about kicking the drugs after getting the knee surgery. Yeah, so you were able to kick the drugs. You didn't really you don't really like those pills and stuff. I don't either. I think they make you kind of itchy and uncomfortable, right?
Well, OxyContin is morphine. While I was in the hospital, morphine is awesome. That's a great drug, but they wean you from that after about 4 days, and then the OxyContin is that's not really a fun drug. So I'm not a big drug guy, anyways.
No. Like, when I think of drugs being good, I think of, like, Sgt. Pepper's or something like that. And that wasn't done on OxyContin. That was done on, stuff made from Mother Earth,
Yeah, acid, LSD, when the Beatles decided to drop acid. So
yeah, and when Dylan got them the pot. I don't know if that's a true thing, if Dylan was the one that brought it over, but that's what I've read in a couple things. But
I bet you Bob has access to really great Dylan weed.
Yeah, back to the knee. Are you walking around fine? Are you driving the car? Or not so much.
No, I'm not driving yet. I need some assistance, but I'm really glad I got my knee done. It was just long overdue, so I'm looking forward to actually being able to walk again. So life is good.
So what kind of stuff you got planned for the holidays?
Just hanging out. My son is coming in from L.A. and he's recorded a lot of new music, and he'd want me to say hi to you. You have helped him out, but he's got some really great tunes that you can get on iTunes, and then my granddaughter and daughter coming over. So it's it's going to be nice just to hang out with family.
Yeah, speaking of Trevor Manier is the name. Look on iTunes, search on the internet. I love that Bayou Gold. That's my new jam of his that I've been loving. So.
Yeah, he's got two more songs that he just finished up, and you should get a hold of him because they're sounding really good. Yeah, Bayou Gold is I really enjoy. Trev's music it seems to just keep getting better and better and better.
Yeah, taking it back for Trev,
So obviously it was pretty much your idea to get a guitar in his hand, or was that something that he just kind of naturally just got into?
Well, I always had musical instruments, around the house. And, Trev was so little at the time, he was just attracted to anything that made noise. And so, he picked up a guitar, just to hang on to a guitar. And before you knew it, he was up on a piano and just making noise, or sitting behind a drum kit making noise. So Trev has been making noise ever since I can remember, and he's just really loved it.
And it's good you weren't the type of parent to be, Trevor, you gotta start learning how to study about law, or do taxes or something like that. This music will get you nowhere. That's what most parents are like. But I'm glad that my parents and you guys didn't do that to your kids.
No, I mean, Trevor's just naturally loved music, and I encourage, parents should just let their kids do what they want to do, I've never said to Trev, turn it down, which I'm really proud of. I've never, taught him to turn it down or anything like that. I encourage
cut that racket.
Yeah, cut that. I often think Trevor more and more like he's not playing loud enough. So
turn it up, yeah. So how did you guys enjoy your time? Did you live in Hinsdale or was it Burr Ridge?
We're over like in between Hinsdale, Burr Ridge. I had a good time, and a lot of folks over in Western Springs. So really, just that's where we hung out: Western Springs, LaGrange, and Burr Ridge, Countryside,
sure,
Downers Grove, all kinds of good folks over there.
My stomping grounds. Last night I went to Ballydoyle's, and I saw an awesome Talking Heads cover band called, or This Must Be the Band they were called. Really cool, actually. The guy looked exactly like David Byrne. So.
Did he have the big suit on?
He didn't. He was looking more like an early Byrne reincarnation, like towards their first couple albums, kind of like the skinny necktie and stuff.
You wonder if David is ever actually going to go and actually stand on stage again. He says no, but...
Yeah, that's another thing I brought up on the show a lot, is these bands that every member is alive and they have a huge legacy, great discography full of good music, but something's getting in the way of them actually reforming. And, no one's ever going to, it's like a thing of not everybody's going to be there forever. You might as well do it while everybody's together, everybody's still healthy. A lot of bands are just, I don't know if it's a money thing or if it's something that was deep-seatedly, you got backstabbed or something. I don't know what the deal is, but it would be nice to see some of these bands reform.
Yeah, it's kind of nice just to tell them to shut up and play your music too, you little babies.
Yeah, really.
I love bands, especially bands that have brothers that hate each other and argue and they fight on stage and get in fist fights.
The Gallagher Brothers.
That's awesome. Yeah, pretty much. It's just, it's just, to me, it goes, just shut up, either play or just quit,
Yeah, they must have a really uncomfortable Thanksgiving. Yeah.
I know. I love that. I love brothers that are in bands that fight.
They can't keep it together. Yeah.
No, they hate their music so much. That's great.
That's funny. So you were in the Chicagoland towards what, the late 90s, mid 90s to late 90s? Or?
Oh, I've never really left actually. So, I'm over in Chicago all the time. I mean, Chicago's like a suburb. I'm always there. It seems like.
Nice. So, what was the idea to take it out to Grand Rapids?
To get out to Grand Rapids, just, like back and forth, it's just, I really enjoy it over in Michigan. This is where I was born. And, I'm so close to, I'm so close to Chicago. It's nothing. I mean, we're divided by a lake.
Yeah.
That's it.
I go to New Buffalo a lot. I had a house out there for a while, and it's like literally 65 minutes if you're going fast, and you feel like you're away from it all. I love it.
Oh yeah, it's just, I absolutely love, I love Michigan. You can just, right now is a great time to be in Michigan because everybody's left the state, that have summer homes like up in Traverse City, or, it's just really great to go up into Ludington, Manistee right now. It's just gorgeous country, and just, I really enjoy the folks. I really have always admired people that live in Michigan, Indiana, Illinois.
Yeah, is it a thing of like when everybody leaves, it kind of is nice out there? You just kind of it gets more quiet.
Yeah, it's unbelievable to go, into Manistee or Ludington and go on the lakeshore right now. There's nobody there, and it's just really beautiful this time of year with nobody there. Yeah.
Really cool. Do you do much hunting? I heard on your show you were thinking about planning a hunting trip or something.
Yeah, we used to do a lot with, we used to tape a lot of television shows with like Dave Winkleman and Ted Nugent, and
nice.
I lost a dog. It was a chocolate lab, Charlie. I hunted with all the time, and I lost him to cancer. And so once he left, I kind of just took some time off, and plan on getting back. I love the outdoors. Whether I'm hunting or whatever. I love being in the outdoors a lot.
Sure. Yeah, I had a really good time coming up to the Wurst Festival Ever. I guess that was September. It was just a really cool time.
Yeah, that was in September. It was it's a 1,000-acre farm, and it was good to see you, Andy. And that's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And we'd like to actually host Farm Aid on this 1,000-acre farm in Dorr, Michigan, because they've never had Farm Aid on a farm.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I never even heard of that little tidbit. That would be amazing.
Yeah. It would be, and I Willie Nelson and Dave Matthews and Neil Young and everybody, they're real receptive, and I love the amount of dedication for decades that they've spotlighted the American farmer, because without them we don't eat.
Sure, I took the drive up there and I felt the plight of the American farmer, seeing all the crops just brown and gray and disgusting looking. It looked like they were in dire straits kind of this year.
Yeah, and they're also in dire straits, just the federal government, what they do to farm, the regulations, and they make it so hard on the American farmer, and the farms end up, they put them up for sale, and we're losing farmland.
That stinks. Yeah, it's just that they keep choking them out of their situation a little bit.
Yep. Yeah. So, I love the American farmer. They're good folks, and we'll do anything I can for them.
Awesome. Well, definitely keep us updated about the whole Farm Aid situation. That would be amazing. It was cool seeing Trevor, and I saw another 3 or 4 bands that I was definitely interested in, too. Who's the girl that was the rockabilly chick? She was awesome.
She's great. Her name's Delilah DeWild, and the Lost Boys. She's really, really great. I mean, she really loves music, and she's really great as far as capturing. She really captures that. She's got her own sound, but at the same time, she's got such respect for heritage, and she's really good. Delilah DeWild. You can follow her on Facebook and on iTunes too.
Awesome. Yeah, I like musicians that respect the heritage. They know about what came before them. I feel like Trev is definitely an example of that. You could tell he's researched these old bluesmen. He's tried to walk in their shoes a little bit, and that definitely comes through in his music.
Yeah, especially growing up in Chicago, there's so much heritage there, and Trevor has just really taken time to find out who he's playing, and who influenced some of the jazz and blues greats. It's just really nice to know what you're playing and where the origin comes from.
Cause, that's what I do whenever I'm into a band. I go, this band's awesome. Where did they get their ideas from? And then I try to do kind of like a tree and just branch off. Like, where did they learn from? Then who did that guy learn from? And then take it all the way back. Usually ends up being back to the blues, pretty much.
Right, and look at how much heritage is over in Westmont. That's where Muddy Waters lived, and Trevor used to sit on his porch all the time, and there's just so much heritage with Chess Records and the jazz and the blues that started in Chicago. It's that heritage is so rich in Chicago.
Definitely, and that's why I love being out here in Westmont. It's a suburb, but you're still connected to the whole thing. You feel like you're part of the zeitgeist a little bit. And so is his house? His house isn't still up, is it?
You can still. I can't remember what street it is, but Trev used to go over there and just sit on his porch, all the time. But
the vibe.
Hey, pretty much, just to catch that vibe and take it along. So Westmont's got some great heritage.
I did hear that I guess during Muddy's like his wedding in the late 70s that Clapton and Mick Jagger came out to the wedding in Westmont or to a family get together. So that's pretty awesome. And now I guess they've named one of these big ponds off of 63rd, call it the Muddy Waters official park now. So that's kind of nice. He's getting his due.
Yeah, I'd love to see, they should have a Muddy Festival. You should do that. Everybody should pay tribute to Muddy Waters every year, and it's right in your backyard over in Westmont.
Yeah, really. Is there so there isn't a festival that goes on every year? I'd spearhead it.
No. I think, why don't you do that? And if you want, Trev, I sure would love to play that because he admired Muddy to this day, But yeah, I think you should do it. Do it on Muddy's birthday.
That is a great idea, Kev. I will definitely take a note of that and be working on that, huh?
Yeah. I mean, come on over and pay tribute to Muddy Waters.
That's a great idea. I'm gonna try to spearhead that. We'll try to make something happen. I love the podcast because it's just you give ideas back and forth.
Yeah.
And speaking of podcasts, you're a radio legend. You're my radio big brother from way back. But
thank you.
You are recently getting a breath of fresh air and a bunch of freedom over at the Steve Dahl Network. And it's been about 1 year, correct?
Yeah, we just celebrated our 1 year anniversary. And it's really great to be with Steve and on the Dahl Network, and I really enjoy it. It's really nice to be able. There's no FCC. There's no radio boss telling you what to say, and radio unfortunately is pretty much dying. And I really enjoy it over at working with Steve. I really do.
That's totally cool. Yeah, I listened to almost every Steve Dahl episode, every Kev episode. Good. Matt and Brendan's awesome. And Dog is, I believe, your network's secret weapon. I interviewed Dog about a month ago, and wow, his music beds are so catchy. They're hilarious at the same time. His butt chugging song, come on. I mean, that's originality, and such a nice guy, friendly guy too.
He's a great guy, and he's a great musician, and so. Yeah, everybody on that network is getting along real well, and it's really nice to really have such a great audience, that's really backing us all up. So it's a good place to be.
That's the one cool thing about the pay for subscription method is everybody who subscribes is a diehard, and you feel part of a little group. Yeah. You don't feel like just somebody just happened on the show. No, it's everybody is a diehard fan. Everybody appreciates what you guys have been doing for, 25, 30 years now.
And we really appreciate the audience too. I mean, it's like, the audience without them, we're all in this thing together. And I really love the interaction. You can get really, really close, physically touch the audience, they can call you, they can write you. It's just such a really good one-on-one experience.
Yeah, something even as small as like one of Steve's sponsors, like Big Bowl. You go to Big Bowl, you say you're a subscriber, and they keep bringing out more and more food and wrapping it up for you so much you need like a suitcase to leave the place.
No, it's really great. Everybody's all in this together. The sponsors are, the audience, and that's the way it should be. It's just I really appreciate everybody that takes hard-earned money. Pays to listen, you want to give it your absolute best. Certainly.
Did you ever see this coming, say, 10 years ago, or was it just a thing of radio will just keep going and going and going?
No, I think, as soon as the internet really became accessible to anybody is when it changed, and I think radio really lost its purpose and really got consolidated, and they, played only these 100 songs and didn't listen to the audience, and they got old, and I can get what I want now, and it's got to be good. I'm gonna search the world to listen to what I want to hear and who I want to hear and what I want to read, and until unfortunately the government puts restrictions on that. It's wide open, and again, I really do think that the government's going to clamp down on the amount of freedom because it's dangerous.
I think that's true too, and I'm hoping that they take their good time with doing that, because I'm just enjoying the freedom, and especially on radio. What, every hour you're getting 39 minutes of content or something, even less than that. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, and you know what? The government, they work for us, and I'm so tired of politicians, both sides. The internet is, you got to fight for that. You've got to fight for freedom.
Yeah, I almost wanted to get rid of my Facebook, or like the week before the election, everybody spewing out their, diatribes against the other guy. It just, come on, just make your choice. Leave that in the ballot box and go on with your day. For me, at least. Right?
And hold the politicians accountable too. So
yeah.
Politicians are scathing little rats, and they work for you. Remember that.
There are civil servants for real, and you can't forget that.
Right.
So going back to radio, you've mentioned a couple times on the show that you started your own a country station up in Michigan, and then that got canned.
Yeah, we did that, and then the radio company came in and bought it out and tore that all up. So they took a really great radio station and just gutted it. So those kind of things I just as soon do on my own. And again, I can do it on the internet. Where I don't need, radio people that think they know radio, that don't know radio. It's just, they'll always ruin it. So, there was a great radio station one time, but, they just completely disemboweled it. And now it's done.
It's done. Yeah. How about this? Like, if you could give one favorite memory of your time at AM 1000 during, the peak years, what would that be?
Probably the amount of phone calls that you get from around the country, because, that station could be heard all over the world, and, to get calls from New York or San Francisco, that meant that the signal went all the way around the world and came back to the transmitter. So, that had such a huge audience. That was before the internet, and it seemed like we covered the world. It was great.
It was almost its own internet at that time. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just huge radio station. It was a good time.
How about like a favorite guest or recurring friend of your show, or something like that?
Probably when it was all said and done, got really close to Frank Zappa, and in turn got real close to Ahmet and Dweezil and Moon and
awesome.
and the kids, and Gail, and it would be probably the musicians that you just ended up meeting, and then, would go on and become real big, whether it be from, Billy Corrigan to a Frank Zappa to, it just seemed endless. Eddie Vedder to, they're just everybody that we met.
What kind of guy was Frank? Pretty funny guy, correct?
Yeah, he was, very articulate, very educated, very loved music. It was just so, he was a perfectionist when it came to music, and his music was very, very involved. If you were going to play with Frank, you were definitely going to play it correct and hit every note, but he was a perfectionist, and he was a brilliant man in the studio.
Awesome. Was your first exposure to Frank the Mothers of Invention, or was it something else?
Actually, it was even before that. There was Reuben and the Jets.
Jeez.
Early stuff that, Frank, it was hard to get radio airplay, so he almost played the game of recording songs that would get radio airplay, and it was, I don't know, just if you go online and watch Frank Zappa on, some early television, it's really remarkable. Him playing a bicycle on the Steve Allen show.
Really?
Look that up on YouTube. It's amazing.
So his early stuff, he was more trying to play to radio, but he still had that eccentric wit about him? Or?
Well, I think, he just played the game, he played under assumed name. But I think Frank from day one did what he wanted to do.
Sure. Yeah.
And I love that. But, if you're going to get radio airplay, you've also got to play the game, and Frank played the game well, and then he was off and running on his own, and owned everything, owned his own music, owned his own label, he did exactly, what he wanted to do, and God bless him for that.
Hey, where did he live, or did he move around a lot? Or?
No, he's pretty much just, right in California,
Huh.
He lived the same, Gale's in the same house, there's the studio, and, that's where all the kids were born, and all the kids live around Gale, and so everybody's in the L.A. area, down in the valley, and, it's pretty fun to, go and look up Amit or Dweezil, and, Amit just had a baby girl, and, it's pretty cool to just see the family grow.
That's really cool. How about like the first interview with Frank? Was that like a nervous thing, or were you guys already friends? How did you come into contact with him?
The first time I ever talked to Frank, I was doing radio in Chicago, and I said, "Ladies and gentlemen, Frank Zappa." And Frank, the first thing he said to me, he said, "Do a funny voice."
Huh.
And I immediately went and started singing Baby Snakes like Ronald Reagan. And he really liked that. And so I'm really glad that, to have Ronald Reagan singing Baby Snakes, we hit it off. And,
you had him at hello.
It was
yeah.
a good time right from the start.
That's very awesome. Yeah, I've only got a couple more things here. I'll let you go on your day. But so you had Frank Zappa as a friend, then the whole Zappa family. And throughout the 80s, you and Steve were kind of, I've talked about this on my show, that disc jockeys were actually rock stars back in that era. And I mean, like now they're just like Rokan. I don't think he's really a rock star, right. And back then you guys were kind of dangerous. You kind of, real funny, but still kind of just kind of badass is the term I like to call. And a listener of my show brought in a wrinkly poster into my restaurant about 3 months ago of a Bud Dry ad with you, Steve, Gary, and Johnny B. And I'm like, these are the coolest guys ever. They're my idols right here. So,
yeah, we had a good time. It was just, we had a lot of people listening, and and we dominated the radio station from morning until night, 7 days a week, and we were just having fun. We just involved the audience, and the audience was having fun, and we just, it was just a big hurricane, Mike, and it just, that's what's so sad now is that's all gone away, and people are finding, the internet to be the place, where I can go into my studio and say and do anything I want to do. And so it's all worked out.
Yeah, it seems like you're almost coming full circle now, because back then you guys did have, you had all the rules and stuff, but you did have freedom because you guys were bringing in the big names. You were bringing in tons of listeners, so you were probably allowed a little bit of lack with what you were speaking of. Or am I wrong? Or were they actually?
You know what? No. They, I hated program directors. A program director wasn't going to tell me what to do. And the managers that we had, a Jimmy DeCastro or a Larry Wirt, those people, they left you alone. And when those people left and then these stupid nerds came in, that's when, they wrecked it all. There's so many program directors that, want to be on the air, but they don't have the talent to be on the air. And I never listened to program directors.
Hell no.
Very rare. Somebody like a Greg Salk I'm going to listen to. The guy knows what he's doing. But there's so many bad radio people that have just destroyed radio.
Yeah, these nerds that just come green right out of college, trying to live vicariously through the on-air person. I could see where that would be quite a hurdle.
Yeah, and so those people should be murdered.
Dragged out back and shot.
Yeah, pretty much killed. Yeah, by they should just be killed one at a time and just rid radio of bad people.
Then maybe radio will be a safe place for creativity again.
Right.
But until then, subscribe to the Steve Dahl Network. It's Dahl.com, DAHL.com. Get a slice of Chicago history every day. I've talked to Doug. If you're paying $10 a month. That is, and I think you're getting something like 40 episodes a month of all the different shows that they've got going. So less than a quarter to listen to a show of good comedy, good news, all that stuff, why not do it?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and you can get, also what's great is, you can listen to the archives that go, Steve's really in-depth. All his shows, my shows, anybody's shows, they're all there. And, you can really catch up, and you can listen on your phone. You can listen in the car, on the boat. It's just really great. You can listen whenever you want, and the amount of freedom is just beautiful.
Yeah, that's my one speed bump, and I guess it's your guys' too. It's going to a Christmas party or a holiday party, and they go, "So you have a show? How do I get this? How do I get a podcast? What do I do with a podcast?" So I've been having to explain that, and once you explain it, they start to understand, and I think that'll only last for another year or so, and then that'll just be a common thing then.
Oh, without a doubt. I live on my phone. Yeah, I don't read newspapers. I don't listen to the radio. I listen on my phone.
Sure.
So it's interesting. That's where I live now.
Yeah, it couldn't be easier. No commercials, no program directors, no FCC, just pure unadulterated good programming from the guys at Steve Dahl Network. So.
Yeah. Well, Andy, it's always a pleasure. You're a big supporter, buddy. I appreciate it.
I always appreciate everything you did. Thank you for having me on your show a good 8 or 9 times, talking tunes.
Yeah, and we'll get going again on that too, okay? So it's a new year, and we'll get going on that too. I want to help promote your show. I'm
really excited for everything. Thank you so much. Yeah, any last words, Kevin?
You're welcome, buddy. No, it's just everybody have a great year, and I appreciate it, Andy. And folks, life is short, so enjoy it, and you have a great holiday, Andy.
Awesome. Happy holidays to you, too. And on behalf of Kevin Matthews, thank you so much for checking out the Andy Dare Show. Be sure to follow Andy on Twitter. That's at Andy Dare, ANDYDERER. And like our show on Facebook. That's facebook.com/The Andy Dare Show. Videos at youtube.com/Andrew Martin Dare. And it all leads back to the AndyDareShow.com. Support our show by supporting our sponsors. Uncle Bub's award-winning barbecue, Secondhand Mall, The Mandrate, and Amazon.com. Thank you so much for listening.